Your jaw holds the silence of the trauma your mother was forced to endure. In just a few minutes, you will begin to feel that tension release. Your breath move down into your abdomen, and your voice gain depth, not by force, but by following a precise protocol that reorganizes the nervous system at its root. There is a hidden neural circuit connecting your jaw to the body's defense mode, and as long as it remains active, you continue to repeat her pattern. Chronic procrastination, a voice that won't come out in important conversations, relationships that shut down before they even begin. Closing this video now is choosing to carry, for one more generation, what was never yours. The body holds a code, and you are about to unlock it. This pattern was not born with you. Since the first female body had to stay silent to survive, the jaw became a lock, and what was trapped inside was passed down, generation after generation, until it reached you. Epigenetics calls this inherited somatic memory, biological markers that change how your DNA is expressed without altering a single letter. Your body was born already on alert, with a clenched jaw before you ever had anything to fear. By the end of this video, you'll have in your hands a 4-step protocol that activates healing mode in 2 to 3 minutes. This is not a relaxation technique. It is a neural reorganization, fascial release, and the return of the voice to a body that learned to protect itself by staying silent. What you will feel is measurable: spontaneous sighs, a jaw that softens, breath that finally drops. The Hermetic tradition has always known, form holds the principle. When the jaw locks, the law of expression has been broken, and what remains trapped inside vibrates like ancestral debt, waiting for someone brave enough to release it. In mystery schools, the jaw was seen as a portal between the inner world and what is expressed. When it locks, what should flow as words, gestures, or voice gets stuck, vibrating as continuous tension. Jaw stiffness turns silence into invisible loyalty. The body records what the mind forgets, and the jaw becomes the living archive of that untold story. Epigenetics has brought scientific language to this ancient phenomenon. Studies on markers like FKBP5 show that children of mothers exposed to trauma are born with an already altered stress response, the body on alert even before the first real threat appears. Polyvagal theory explains the circuit when the masseter contracts. The fifth cranial nerve sends signals to the brainstem, suppressing the ventral vagus and activating defense mode. A contracted masseter is a silent alarm running in a loop, interpreting safety as danger. What the ancients called an energetic lock, neuroscience identifies as a blocked neural circuit. The jaw does not lie, it stores, repeats, and transmits. But it can also be the turning point. What makes that possible is the structure of the circuit itself. The jaw does not work alone. It is the entry point to a neural network that connects the fifth cranial nerve, the trigeminal, directly to the autonomic centers of the brainstem. When the masseter contracts, it sends threat signals to the trigeminal nucleus, which communicates with the amygdala and the alert system. The body reads the tension as imminent danger and activates defense mode. Breath rises, heart rate accelerates, the voice disappears. The ventral vagus, responsible for social regulation and the feeling of safety, depends on facial mobility, the softness of the voice, and the fluidity of breath. When the jaw locks, the ventral vagus is suppressed. What takes over is the sympathetic system, fight or flight, or worse, the dorsal vagus, freeze. You may be safe, but your body still believes it needs to stay silent to avoid being attacked. This is the somatic cost of inherited silence. The craniocervical fascia shows that tension in the masseter does not stay restricted to the face. It travels down the front chain of the neck, compresses the base of the tongue, tightens the throat, and blocks the diaphragm. Breath can't descend into the abdomen. The solar plexus remains contracted. The entire body enters an economy of expression. There is no space to ask, to refuse, or to affirm, only to hold back. When the mother had to stay silent, her body registered that gesture as survival. The jaw clenched, the tongue pulled back, the diaphragm lifted. That pattern didn't stay only in memory, it stayed in biology. And when you were born, that same code was already active. You inherited the tension, the high breath, the defensive reflex, not by choice, by epigenetic transmission. The body repeats what was never resolved. Tension in the masseter is not just a contracted muscle, it is invisible loyalty. It is the body saying, if she had to stay silent to survive, I must too. But the threat that once justified her silence no longer exists. What remains is the pattern running on a loop, keeping you stuck in a defense that was never yours. There is a physiological path to reverse this circuit. It is not symbolic. It is measurable. The ancestral voice protocol was designed to dismantle the logic of silence at its origin, using 4 steps that reorganize the relationship between jaw, tongue, breath, and nervous system. The first step begins with the masseter, where trauma became crystallized as permanent tone. The action is conscious touch. 3 fingers on each side rest on the muscle with gentle pressure, just enough to locate the points of silent pain. This is not massage. It is an invitation. The body needs to know that you are present and that the threat is no longer there. The tactile stimulus to the mandibular branch of the trigeminal nerve sends new information to the brainstem, safety. The tension begins to release, not because you forced it, but because the system received permission to let go. The second step happens inside the mouth. The tongue rests wide across the palate, effortlessly, filling all the available space. The base of the tongue is one of the body's biggest knots. When it releases, breath finds its way through. The throat opens. The ventral vagus begins to reorganize. This simple repositioning changes the airflow and your internal sense of space. The body registers. There is room to breathe. There is room to exist. The third step is a slow nasal exhalation, accompanied by a soft hum, a continuous vibration that gently massages the inside of the nasal cavity. Studies show that this vibration increases nitric oxide production, improves oxygenation, and sends calming signals to the nervous system. The humming organizes the fascia of the face, stabilizes the breath rhythm, and returns the voice to the body without effort. Vibration is the code the body recognizes as ancestral safety. The fourth step is the pause. 2 seconds of absolute stillness, just noticing. The jaw settles. The chest opens from within. The body registers that it can rest, that it can release, that it no longer needs to hold what was never its burden. 2 to 3 minutes, 2 or 3 times a day. That is the time it takes for the nervous system to record a new pattern and begin to operate in healing mode. This protocol does not require force. It requires presence. Each step communicates directly with the neural structure that keeps the silence active. Touch signals safety. The tongue opens the pathway. The hum reorganizes the fascia. The pause seals the new pattern. The body begins to recognize that defense is no longer needed, that the voice has permission, that the maternal silence can finally be honored and released. What comes next is not abstract. They are clear, measurable signals in the body that confirm the transformation is underway. Spontaneous sighs indicate that internal pressure has eased. Light salivation shows that the parasympathetic system has reactivated. The body has come out of dry mode. Warmth in the chest signals that energy has begun to circulate. The voice gains fullness without effort. Expression has been released. These are safety markers, physiological signs that you have exited defense mode and entered presence mode, activating healing mode. The before and after check is simple. Slowly open and close your mouth, noticing the range and softness of the movement. Read a sentence in a low voice and feel the tone. Notice whether the breath drops into the abdomen without forcing. If there's a noticeable shift, the body is responding. If there's still resistance, don't push. Adjust the intensity. Respect your system's timing. Transformation doesn't happen through imposition. It happens through repeated invitation. Practical integration happens when you bring the protocol into real-life situations. Before a difficult conversation, practice the 4 steps. The jaw releases. The voice gains depth. Your words come out without cracking. Before creating, release the base of the tongue and let the breath drop. Procrastination fades. Clarity increases. Action flows. In moments of anxiety, conscious touch on the muscle and the nasal humming bring the body back into alignment. What used to be a block becomes a living skill. You can practice in the morning, before important meetings, or at night, when the body has accumulated the tension of the day. The protocol fits into any moment. 2 to 3 minutes is enough. No special space, equipment, or complex preparation is needed. Just presence, intention, and repetition. Each time you practice, your nervous system registers a little more safety, a little less defense. Change is not linear. Some days the jaw releases easily. Other days, resistance lingers. That's natural. The body has its own timing for dismantling patterns built over generations. What matters is to keep going. Each touch, each hum, each pause is a new message to the system. You no longer have to hold what your mother silenced. This is not about blaming anyone. It's about honoring the story and giving back to the body what it was never meant to carry. When the jaw releases inherited silence, the voice that returns is not just yours. It's the voice of all those who stayed silent before you. And now, finally, it has permission to exist. There was a woman who experienced this release. Her name was different, but her story is the same as yours. Gwen was 58 years old when she realized that her jaw did not belong to her. It belonged to her mother. The tension in her jaw began when she was 30, but the pattern started long before that. Much longer. Important meetings turned into internal silence. Her voice would freeze before it could come out. She saw her mother in that gesture, clenching her teeth, swallowing her words, holding everything inside. The feeling was unmistakable. She was living a life that wasn't hers, repeating the same silence her mother had carried for decades without ever questioning where it came from, until someone showed her the ancestral voice protocol. At first, it seemed too simple to actually work, but Gwen decided to try. 3 fingers on the masseter, gentle pressure on the points of silent pain, the tongue resting wide on the palate, nasal exhalation with a soft hum, a 2-second pause. In the 3rd minute, the sigh came. It wasn't just hers, it was the sigh her mother never got to release, the breath that stayed trapped through a lifetime of silence. The jaw let go, not slowly, all at once, as if something had disarmed from within. In the next meeting, her voice came out steady. No cracking, no blockage. Gwen realized it wasn't just her own jaw that had opened. It was her mother's silence that had finally found a way out. And now, at last, it had permission to exist. What changed in Gwen's story, you now seal in your own body. The physical marker is clear, a jaw that softens effortlessly, breath that naturally drops into the abdomen, a gentle warmth in the sternum. These signals confirm that the nervous system has recorded the new pattern. It's not abstract, it's trackable. The anchoring gesture for this state takes 30 seconds. A gentle touch on the masseter, with 3 fingers on each side, followed by a long nasal exhalation. This simple movement brings the body back into presence mode whenever needed. It is a minimal, repeatable ritual that prevents the automatic return to defense. The return point is even more direct. When you feel your jaw starting to tighten again, say internally, "My voice has permission." Breathe slowly through your nose. Straighten your posture. The body recognizes the code and responds. What changed in Gwen's story, you now seal in your own body. The physical marker is clear. A jaw that softens effortlessly, breath that naturally drops into the abdomen, a gentle warmth in the sternum. These signals confirm that the nervous system has recorded the new pattern. It's not abstract, it's trackable. The anchoring gesture for this state takes 30 seconds. A gentle touch on the masseter with 3 fingers on each side, followed by a long nasal exhalation. This simple movement brings the body back into presence mode whenever needed. It is a minimal, repeatable ritual that prevents the automatic return to defense. The return point is even more direct. When you feel your jaw starting to tighten again, say internally, "My voice has permission." Breathe slowly through your nose. Straighten your posture. These 3 elements, phrase, breath, posture, bring you back to center within seconds. The body recognizes the code and responds. What has been sealed remains sealed, and the inherited maternal silence loses strength with every conscious repetition. Releasing the jaw is not just about letting go of tension. It is about breaking the loyalty to pain that you've carried for generations. It is about giving back to the body what it was never meant to hold. When the jaw finally relaxes, you are not only healing yourself, you are fulfilling what God always intended. That your voice would exist without fear. That your presence would take up space. That your mother's silence would be honored and at last released. Rainer Maria Rilke once wrote, "Perhaps everything that is terrible is, in its deepest being, something helpless that wants our help." The silence your mother carried is exactly that. It is not revenge. It is not punishment. It is ancient pain, waiting for you to see it, to touch it, and to let it go. A locked jaw is the body asking for permission to release what she could not. And when you give that permission, something greater begins to move. There are no villains in this story. There are inheritances. There are patterns that vibrated for so long, they began to feel like part of who you are. But they're not. They never were. When you practice the ancestral voice protocol, you are giving back to the body a truth it always knew. That voice is not a threat. That expression is not dangerous. That living fully is the only way back home. A released jaw is the somatic proof that you no longer have to carry what was never yours. And when your voice finally emerges without cracking, it is not just you who speaks. It is the entire lineage that has finally found its way out. The body does not forget, but it also does not condemn. It only waits for you to remember. Healing is not a destination, it is a choice. When you touch the masseter with presence, allow your breath to drop, and let the hum reorganize the fascia of your face. The body recognizes the threat is over. The voice has permission. Your mother's silence no longer needs to be yours. And what once felt like ancestral debt dissolves, returning you to yourself through the healing mode that has always been available. simply waiting for you to choose to activate it. If this message resonated with you, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. That helps us expand this field of ancestral and somatic knowledge even further. I'd love to know how you feel this release in your own body. Write in the comments. I release from my jaw the silence my mother held. This affirmation seals your presence on the path of ancestral healing and strengthens the collective field of transformation. Share this video with someone you know carries inherited tension, clenches their jaw without knowing why, and needs to remember that their voice has permission to exist. And don't stop here. Click on the screen and dive into another transformative video from the channel. Each protocol activates a deeper layer of your sacred body and returns to you what has always been yours by right. Remember, when the jaw releases, it's not just your voice that returns, it's the voice of all generations finally finding a way out. The body doesn't lie. It was only waiting for you to remember.